Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of almost all ages, with parental consent, the Sick Twisted Minds at Sacrificial Pawn Productions brings you a new style of horror film, like nothing you have seen before. There are no cops, no investigations. There is no backstory, no follow-up of the victims who were brutally tortured and murdered. Our story isn't about them. Normal Terror is about a single dad struggling to make ends meet. His son is his first priority. He goes to work, pays his bills, and is generally a great dad. The twist comes after he puts his son to bed. This is where he releases his stress. Some people do yoga, some hit the gym, some go for runs, some people paint on a canvas. An anonymous source once wrote on an abandoned asylum wall, "I never understood people until I took one apart just to see how it worked." If you are rear-ended in traffic, most people's thought runs to anger and their primal instincts of hurting the other party. Sam Neill does not have the ability to stop that primal instinct. Let us take you into the mind of a killer. Normal Terror is a concept from the mind of Sam Mason, who wrote, directed, produced, and is starring in this new age feature film.
Let's get slicing and dicing with Sir Sturdy horror fans. On this podcast, you will hear me and a guest do some movie reviews, random funny horror chats, and whatever else comes to mind. So tune in, kick back, relax, and always remember, I'll see you in your nightmares.
Well, just Jason's mask.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Horror with Sir Sturdy, ladies and gentlemen. I have the great Deborah Voorhees on today. Deborah, how are you doing?
I'm doing terrific. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. I'm honored. I'm a huge Friday the 13th fan since I was a little kid, so this is like a dream come true for me.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm so glad.
Now, I see you on Facebook a lot, interacting with, interacting with fans and everything. I think right there, that's so awesome. Just me as a fan, getting to talk to people in these horror movies and all that, and you're just so friendly and real humble.
Oh, well, thank you. I really enjoy hanging out with horror fans. They're some of the nicest people you'll ever meet.
But that's so true, and it's funny because we all connect over these crazy, violent movies, but we're like the friendliest people in the world.
I know, it's so funny. It really is. I mean, people really have completely the wrong idea of what a horror fan is. And you think, oh, they're alone in their basement pulling the wings off of butterflies. And no. And I've heard so many kids, or they're not kids now, they're adults now, but tell about when they were kids and they were drawing these violent images and they'd be sent to the principal's office and get into all kinds of trouble and all of this. And so it's a shame that sometimes horror fans are so misunderstood. But yeah, my experience has been really positive.
Same here. For the most part, with the people that I met and just other horror fans in general. It's actually one reason why I started this podcast. One, I'm a big podcasting fan, and I love horror, so I was like, why not make some more horror friends doing this, connect with more people, and see what happens with it.
Right, absolutely.
And now I see that the movie you're getting ready to do with the Indiegogo fund, I'm real excited for this movie. What made you want to do this? Like, what made you want to get started with this one?
Well, I had been looking for several years for something for horror fans. They had been really nice and kind to me. And so I just felt like I really wanted to do something specifically that they would love. A lot of the other films I've been doing have been about Shakespeare and different things like that. And I just really wanted something that was specifically for them. And so I've been looking for quite a while for just the right project. And I had a project that's still on the burner. It's called The List, a horror comedy I was working on. I was looking at some ghost stories and stuff, and I was sitting down talking to my producing partner, who's Joel Paul Reisig. He's an amazing producer. I'm so blessed to have him. He has 26 films under his belt. All of them have had distribution.
That's awesome.
And he's really a neat guy. And, you know, we're just visiting about these other couple films and other ideas we had and what we were going to be working on. And he asked me, he says, you know, when you go to the horror conventions, he said, what's it like? And I said, well, you know, it's really, you know, hectic but lots of fun. You know, there's a lot of fans who just absolutely adore horror and stuff. And he said, well, is there ever a time when there's like a scary moment or anything? I said, you know, I've never experienced that. I've had nothing but good experiences. And then I explained to him about how horror fans are and how they're so wonderful. And I said, but there have been a couple times that have kind of made me feel a bit on the nervous side, but not at conventions. One time I was sitting at my desk and I get a series of text messages, and one of them says, you know, it's basically that he was watching me. Oh. And I felt, you know, that it was clear that he knew me from Friday the 13th, and clear that he was suggesting harm. Now, could it have been just a fan making a joke, or frankly, anybody just making a joke who knew? It may not even been a horror fan. It could have just been anybody. As it was, it never happened again, and I was quite relieved because it really scared me and unsettled me for the night. And then another time on Messenger, which was a little less disturbing because it was on Messenger, it wasn't my private phone number. Mm-hmm. I had somebody say, wouldn't it be cool if you died like you did in Friday the 13th in real life? And it was like, no, not at all. That's, you know, and that was disturbing as well. But, you know, in comparison to the number of fans out there, that's pretty minor. And once again, you know, I don't know if that person's a fan or somebody playing a joke or if they just crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
But, you know, Joel was just like, he said, this is a movie. And, you know, chill went up my spine. And I'm like, oh, man, really? It's just, you know, I didn't know if I really wanted to open that up. What do I want to do with this? Mm-hmm. And, but after several sleepless nights, I realized if it scared me, I could really scare people with this. And so the feel of the film, you know, we're not a part of the franchise. We're moving into hopefully another series where, you know, so we have our own mask, our own killer and everything. And I'm thinking of it in terms of like, think of Cape Fear with the horror kills, you know, that edge of your seat thriller kind of thing with the horror kills that the fans love so much. And we are going to be using all practical effects, no CGI at all.
I love that you said that last part. No CGI and practical effects.
It just looks so much more realistic. It's, you know, a little bit more expensive, but it's worth it.
I agree with you 100% on that. Like, I don't hate CGI. It's okay. Right. If it's used a little bit, if it's used in the right way, but nothing's better than the practical effects. That's just, it always amazed me. It always has amazed me, always will amaze me. Right. And it looks more realistic, like you were saying. It looks way more realistic, and it just makes you wonder, like, how did they do that? Like, CGI, I don't really wonder how they do that. I know it's harder than what I'm gonna say. It's just doing something on the computer, but the practical effects takes so much more work. I just love it.
Right.
As most horror fans usually do, love the practical effects over CGI.
Oh yeah. Well, it just looks to me, the CGI, and I'm sure having had a lot of experience working on the computers, it's sometimes it's actually incredibly difficult to do. But no matter how difficult it is to do, there's still a flatness to the image.
Mm.
That just because it's not there and in a three-dimensional world when it's filmed, and although the film takes it to two dimensions, there's some shadowing and there's some things about it that just isn't there and gives it more of a feeling of being fake.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Just, I mean, me just from watching, I've never been on a set, so excuse me, so I don't know that much about it. But just from watching these movies, I'm just like, wow, this. You could tell when it's CGI and practical effects, and you're just like, oh. Sometimes it could be a real good movie, and the CGI can just ruin it. Like, oh man, just shaking my head. Come on.
This is true. There's something flat and thin about it that just doesn't quite look right.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Now, how was it? How is it working with Kane? Or did you get to work with him yet? I seen that he's going to be in this movie.
No, I haven't. We just signed him on. So no, we haven't started principal photography at all.
Okay. And I see you guys have actually quite a few people from the Friday the 13th franchise, which I was just like, this is awesome.
Right. We're very excited. We've got C.J. Graham and Tom Matthews, both from Part 6. And we're super excited about having them on board. This is going to be the first time that they're on film together since Jason Lives. And then we have Judy Aronson from Part 4.
Mm-hmm.
We have Tracy Savage from 3. And myself from 5. Ron Sloan is going to be there from 5 as well. And Carol Locatella is going to do a cameo for us.
Awesome.
And you may know that Ari Lehman, he has an incredible rock band. And he has a song called Victim. It's a really hard-driving rock song.
Mm-hmm.
And he's agreed to let us use the song in the film as well.
That's so cool. That's real cool. How all that ties in together. I actually got a chance to meet him a couple times. He's a really nice guy. Ari?
Yeah. Oh, neat. I've heard nothing but great things about him.
Yeah, I met him, and I met Kane. Kane's awesome, too.
Yeah, I've heard he's wonderful to work with, and he's really good to the fans. So I'm very excited about working with him.
Yeah, that's... Now, do you have a lot of horror conventions out by you?
No, not really in New Mexico. I guess the closest one that I'm aware of, but there's probably others, I'm sure. There's probably something in Arizona and stuff, but the closest one that I'm aware of is Texas Frightmare in the Dallas area.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of that. That's a looks like it's a fun big con right there. I've heard of that one a lot.
Right. Yeah, no, I went to it one year, and it's a really nice con, yeah.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. I guess I might as well ask you a little bit about Part 5. How was it? Now, how was it working on that set? Working with that one?
I had a really nice time. It was a lot of fun. A lot of great people on set, the actors, the crew, and everything. It was a lot of fun. And, making a horror film is a lot of fun. It's not scary to me being on a film set. It's really fun and kind of silly because you get to, silly in a good way, because you get to be a big kid and dress up and play something else, and then you get to play dead and all of that. And so, yeah, it's just fun.
That's cool. Now, was it, when you went in for that role, did you know that it was going to be a copycat Jason, or did they not tell you guys that?
No, nobody knew anything about that. That was kept quiet through the whole thing, yeah. Till the very end. I learned when we were at the movie theater for the premiere.
Wow. Wow, that's I like that though. Just so nobody slips up and accidentally says something to somebody, and then it gets out there. Right. I like that a lot, actually. Now, when you found that out, did that bother you at all, or
no, not at all.
Okay. Okay, that's cool. Oh man, I'm so excited right now. I don't even know what to say. I'm just, like I said, I've been watching these movies since I was a kid, these Friday the 13th movies, and Part 5 was like, I did a Friday the 13th countdown. That was like the middle on my list. That was like in the middle on my list. A lot of people are, just because Jason's not in it,
right?
That bothers them. But I was like, it didn't really bother me too much. It was a fun movie.
Right. Well, the hint was in the title, A New Beginning.
Yeah.
So, it was going a different direction. And I also look at it, and Jason was in there. You get a little bit of everything. Jason was in the dream sequences.
Mhm.
And then you also have, you had, the slasher that all the horror fans love in there. And honestly, people love the film up until that last moment. So really, that film is much more like the first film. The first film, it wasn't Jason either. It was the mom.
Yes.
So you have in both situations, you have very disturbed parents who are traumatized by the death of the murder of their kids, or one in the death, the accidental death, and one was the murder. And, and both were irrational because neither one of them ended up killing anybody that was responsible for it. They killed other people. So it was totally irrational in their behavior. You would have thought they would have just gone after specifically those that harmed him, as opposed to just, anybody. So
It's funny you say that because I was just watching part 5 earlier today, and I'm thinking like, why didn't Roy kill the guy, get his hands on the guy that killed his son? I mean, the movie would have been over right there, but at some point, I feel like it would have been cool if he went after him. But hey,
Right. I think that's one thing I would have changed in it is, one, I wouldn't have had Victor hauled off by the cops. I would have had him on the loose. So you might be thinking he was the killer.
oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that, but that's
I like to have the mystery of wondering who's the killer.
yeah, that's an excellent idea right there, actually. And people might have still thought Jason all the way up until the end, only because he's the killer in every other one except for the original.
Right, exactly.
Now, with your death scene, would you have changed that in any way, or
If I were to rewrite it,
yes?
Maybe I would have jerked those garden shears out of his hands and reversed them.
That would have been something. Yeah, that would have been something. That would have been a little bit different.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, I did. Like I said, I like how they had the copycat killer in there. I had some ideas with friends. I was like, it would have been cool, say, if the guy Roy was fascinated with Jason, and that's what made him kind of be, say he was just hearing about him in the newspaper and all that from his first kills all the way up till this point, and how final chapter, how Tommy knocks Jason off. I was telling my friends it would have been kind of fun and kind of cool if this one with the copycat killer, if just somebody was so obsessed with Jason, and say Jason has been killing for X amount of years, so he wanted to take that role of killing, dressed up as Jason, and kind of just killed off how Roy was killing people, but not because his son got killed, just because of an obsession.
Right.
But either way, I enjoyed it.
I think it's starting to become more and more of a fan favorite.
I really do think it is, and I feel like, honestly, I feel you're a big part of that with your group and everything, and how friendly you are with everybody. It's making people want to go back and rewatch the movie. And
thanks.
You're welcome. And that alone just makes people like a movie more, because you're like, okay, I'm talking to the person that was in this actual movie, and they're really nice. They respond to everybody.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
And then you were saying with the Fanboy movie, you want to make that into a little franchise, a little series?
I would. We're gonna, of course, see how this one goes, but one of the reasons that we're doing the Indiegogo is about wanting to make sure that the fans are, a part of it. And, judging by the response from the fans, I think we may have a product that is viable for more than one film, because the outreach and the fans have been pretty fantastic about it.
That's something I would really love to see happen, is a really good, fun slasher film franchise, because they haven't had a slasher franchise in a really long time, like a new one, not remakes and all that, which I will watch remakes all the time. I love it. But just a new one, like with the 13 Fanboy. I hope that becomes that, and I hope another movie, Terrifier, becomes that. Just because that was just amazing.
Yes, I have heard that David is fantastic in that. He's actually in my group too. So I'm going to watch that one as well. So I hear it's really great.
Oh, you're gonna enjoy it. Real gory, not too much to the story, but
Mhm.
David's acting definitely steals the show in this movie.
I have heard he's fantastic.
He's it's amazing the way he does because I don't want to spoil it for you, but he doesn't talk throughout the whole movie, but just like his actions, the way his movements and everything is just, I'm like, wow, this is crazy.
Wow. Okay. I will definitely watch it.
And it's on Netflix now, so
Yeah. Was it put out by Netflix or was it in the theaters first?
I don't even. I'm not sure. I know it wasn't put out by Netflix, but I don't think it was in theaters either.
Okay.
But it is on Netflix now, and then they have like Blu-rays and DVDs of it, and all that too, which I think you can only get online. But it's definitely worth a watch, and I think it's definitely worth buying. Honestly, in my opinion, it was excellent.
Awesome. So you can get it on DVD too?
Yep. You can get it on DVD or Blu-ray too.
Great.
If I find a link, I'll post a link for you.
Okay, perfect.
And yeah, more about your Fanboy movie though. I'm I'm real excited. Like I love fan-made films and all that, and I love when the fans can get involved, like with the Indiegogo and stuff, and they get little things from it. I think that's amazing. I actually did that with Never Hike Alone, so I got the Blu-ray of that, and I actually had Vincent on here. I want to get Andrew on here. He said he would. It's just a matter of time and everything, but
Right.
really nice, both really nice guys, and I think they did great with that movie.
Yeah, they really did. That was a fantastic film. And just so you know that this is actually not a fan film.
Okay.
It is. It's not a part of Friday the 13th. It is something separate from that.
Okay.
It's will have a theatrical release.
Oh.
And so yeah, and it's a full-length feature film.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah.
I still like how what you guys are doing. I mean, as far as letting the fans be involved, I think that's real awesome.
Well, especially given the title and what the film is about, you got to have the fans in there. They got to be involved. I mean, it's and it's to me, it's really fun to, the fans love these films. They love the slashers. They love the horror films. But usually they're just passive consumers. Mm-hmm. And that's the one thing I didn't want. I didn't want them just to be passively consuming the film. I wanted them to be a part of it, be in it. We've got, for as little as $13, you can get your name in the credits. So I wanted to make sure that we had a level that just about anybody could reach for and be a part of the film. We have... all different kinds of levels and stuff in there, but anybody can do that. I'm putting out auditions to horror fans for some of our small speaking roles. I'm inviting horror fans to, because a lot of them are so creative and they have bands and they have original music. And so I'm inviting them to submit up to 2 songs for the film. And we're also inviting, or I'm going to be, I haven't opened this one up yet, but to artists to send in, their paintings, show me pictures of their images. Mm-hmm. Because we have a couple places in there where we're going to have some like horror art. And this will be a great opportunity for some of these really fantastically talented horror fans to get their art seen.
That's amazing right there. That's really amazing. Like you guys are really going all out for the fans, which I love it and I respect that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Well, they've been really kind to me over the years. And so this is, I owe them. This is for them.
And we all appreciate it. Coming from me, we all appreciate it. Mm-hmm. I actually, in my group last night, I tagged you in a post. Uh-huh. My friend, his name is Sam Mason. He's actually doing a horror movie. They're working on it now called Normal Terror.
Mm-hmm.
And I tagged you in it so you can check out the trailer. But
Okay. I'll
I
take a look at it.
I believe he's gonna try to send you something with an audition too, because
Oh,
and his movie he's writing, acting, and directing it with
nice.
him and his team, which
Mm-hmm.
I think it's amazing. I met him in a horror group like at the beginning of this year, and just watching him grow.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool to be a part of that. Same with your group, like watching your group grow and everything grow with this fanboy thing. I love it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I really love it. Now, what got you in the excuse me? What got you in the horror and what got you into acting?
Well, I went to Los Angeles to be an actor, not necessarily in horror. So I guess I would say that horror found me as opposed to the other way around. That's, I was called in on for Friday the 13th, and I've been killed 2 other times as well. But I was called in for Friday the 13th, and who knew it was going to was going to make horror history the way it does. And over time, as I got to know horror fans and stuff, I really started watching a lot of the films. They say, "Oh, you got to see this, you got to see that," and I didn't want to disappoint them, so I would watch them, and then it was like, wow, this is really good. Wow, that's a really good movie. Wow, and so I really started to enjoy it. So I'm very grateful that horror fans introduced me. They're the ones that introduced me to horror.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Mhm.
really cool. So you weren't really into horror movies as far as like when you were growing up, just watching, or?
No, I mean, of course, I saw a few,
Hmm.
like Poltergeist. I saw The Exorcist, which scared the living shit out of me. Oh my God. Um, I saw the part two of The Exorcist. I can't remember what that one was called. And, of course, I saw like the Frankenstein, Draculas,
Hmm.
and the TV series that's daytime soap called Dark Shadows and things like that. But for as far as going out and searching for horror movies and really consuming them like that, I didn't. I mean, my favorite horror movie is actually from the 50s. It's called The Bad Seed. It's an old black and white. And it's just a fabulous film. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out.
I'll have to
But
check that out.
it really wasn't until later with horror fans that that I'll specifically now I'll go and seek out a scary movie.
Okay, that's an
And I
interesting
love like The
answer.
Conjuring and
Oh yeah,
the Insidious series and stuff. The ghost stuff scares the shit out of me.
they did those two series you just said. They did them so well with those movies, in my opinion. I love them.
I know, I agree. I definitely want to do a ghost movie because I love ghost movies because I don't know, they for some reason they scare me more than other ones because prove it's not true.
Yeah,
you know, during the daytime I'm like, that's not going to happen. But at night when you're watching it and you're going, could it be out there? All of a sudden.
yep. That's my wife. See, my favorite as far as horror movies go. I love slashers. I love the blood, guts, and gore.
Uh-huh.
And my wife, she loves the paranormal stuff and all that kind of stuff. But it scares the crap out of her every time we watch it. It scares the crap out of her. And she's like, the slashers don't scare me, and this, that, and the third. I'm like, nothing really scares me as far as horror movies go. I jump here and there, very
Hmm.
rarely, but I just enjoy it. I really
Right.
just enjoy it. Like just whoever creates that movie, just like what's going on in their mind to put that on paper and then put it on film. I think it's
Right.
amazing. And
I I find that a lot of slasher fans, and maybe you can tell me if you agree with this, really get excited with wow, that like that special effect is so cool. How did they do that?
yes, yes, I love. Hey, part five, the shears thing to the eyes. I'm just like that was just awesome how they did that. Now, how the hell did they actually do this?
Right, right.
Like, if I get a chance to, I like to watch when you get like a DVD or a Blu-ray, how they'll have like the not the deleted scenes, but the extras, and they'll kind of show you the background scenes and all that. I love that kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, that's a good question then I have for you. Um, would you want to be able to see how the special effects were done, or would you feel like that's like showing you the trick and taking away the fun of it?
Honestly, I have I can answer that question for you.
Okay.
Well, one, I would love to see it just because I'm like I'm fascinated by it. I don't think it would take anything away from it. I think it would actually bring more to me or give me more. Because when you're seeing it in the movie, you're just like, wow, how did they do that? That's amazing. Wow. And then when you see how they did actually do it, you're just like, wow, they're doing all this work for this 5-minute scene, let's say. They're putting
Right.
hours into all this. It's beautiful the way it comes out. And back to my friend Sam with the Normal Terror thing on his Facebook page, Normal Terror, or the Sacrificial Pawn Productions one. I forgot which one it was, but they were actually doing like little bits where they were showing their special effects and how they do it, like making the body castings and all this stuff. And he asked my opinion on that, and I said, you know what? I said that right there. Me as a fan of horror and all, I said that right there is just amazing how you guys are actually showing people this stuff, because you really don't get to see that too much. Here and there when you get movies, you'll get to see it very rarely. And you definitely don't get to see it on social media. They don't really show too much, but I love when they show that. It's similar to a different extent, obviously, but like the special effects makeup that people do and they do the tutorials on that. I love seeing that kind of stuff because it's like you see the end product, you're just like, wow, how did you get there?
Right. Yeah, no, it's pretty interesting. Would you think for other horror fans, do you think they would feel the same? Most people would feel the same way, or they'd feel like, oh, I don't want to know because I don't want to know the illusion.
Honestly, I mean, as far as the ones that I personally know, we're all like nerds when it comes to horror, so we all love that kind of stuff. Like we'll watch the documentaries and everything on that kind of stuff, and it's just cool to know. It's like what's going on behind the what's going on behind the camera, what's going on behind the scenes. How did they get this? How did they chop somebody's head off in this movie? I want to see how that happens. How did they smash somebody's head? I want to see how that happens. Because when you're watching the movie, it looks so good and it looks so real with these practical effects. I'm like, how did they pull this off? And then
when they pull it off.
Yeah, and then when it's one thing too, like when they tell you how they did it, it's awesome to hear it. But then when they tell you and then you get to see how they did it, that's just another level.
Right. I'm with you. I think that that I am of the mindset that I want to know, but I would be really curious. In fact, you know what? Maybe I'm going to do a survey in the group and just see who wants to know and who doesn't want to know.
I think that's an excellent idea.
We'll find out.
You already know where my vote's going.
Right.
I
Maybe
definitely want to know.
We can do it in a few different groups and get different people's opinions on it.
Yeah, if you make the post, I'll share it in my group and I'll share it in a couple other groups that I'm in.
Fantastic.
But yeah, that's an excellent idea.
I think it'd be very cool.
Now, how is it like as far as doing those kind of scenes and all that? Is that fun for you, or
like the kill scenes and stuff?
The kill scenes, yeah. But when you have to like do the well, I don't know what you guys have to do, the makeup and all that.
Right. Yeah, no, it is a lot of fun. For me, there were, some complicating factors that made it a little bit uncomfortable because it was dealing with the eyes. And, they put first you go in and they put a mold up here to get the outline of my eyes and stuff. And then they made the mask itself that went on me on top of that. And then it took about 3 hours to get it on properly to make sure that it looked really realistic because, you had to make sure that there wasn't like this line.
Yeah.
And it was, perfectly smooth and looked really natural. And then, they painted in a couple different layers of things and then put the blood in. Well, even though, I tried to keep my eyes shut and everything, and there was some of the mask helping to protect, it's still, some of the blood seeped into my eyes.
Ooh.
And so it did burn and hurt. And plus just, being the first day on a set and being nude and blind was a little intimidating. But it's I had a terrific group and very professional people around me, so it wasn't like I was worried about anybody there. It just was a little, you feel a little vulnerable.
Understand, understandable. I mean, if I was on a set and that's the first thing I had to do was be half blind and naked, that'd be kind of rough too. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I couldn't open up my eyes. I couldn't see anything at all. So, and it was quite a while, because from makeup and getting the blood and stuff and to actually getting it shot. And you think you could do it like this, but you just can't. I mean, they tried really hard to be as prepared and ready as possible when they did that shot, but we also had to shoot it two ways, one for television and one for film.
oh,
And so for the theaters. And so that just added to the amount of time. So.
now how does that work with shooting a scene for the actual film, like the theater release, and then shooting it for TV?
Well, in this particular case, it just meant you didn't. In the film version, you could see part of my breast, and in the TV version, you didn't.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I always find it really hysterical. Oh, we're okay with the garden shears going through her eyes, but don't show a nipple.
Which is kind of it's strange. That's
The
it.
children might be disturbed if they see the nipple.
Yeah, but not seeing someone get murdered on screen, that's fine.
That's fine. Yeah, no, kids, go ahead. Go watch that.
Oh man.
That's what you call a head scratcher.
Yeah, you're right about that. Like, what the heck?
Something is twisted and turned around.
Very, very twisted and turned around. That was a really cool scene though. And then now knowing that they had to like lay something over your face to make a mask over your face, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Now
Right.
with that mask, did you guys get to or, okay? Did you guys get to keep anything from the movie as like a prop or?
I didn't. And it never even occurred to me to even ask or anything like that. I wish I had now or have asked or something. But yeah, no, I didn't. I didn't. I was pretty, I know a lot of people either asked or swiped something sometimes, but yeah, that kind of thing never crossed my mind. I was a Playboy bunny, and I found out all my bunny sisters, they all took their bunny outfits. Well, I was told I wasn't supposed to, so it never crossed my mind to take my outfit. But I never did.
Oh man.
Yeah, what's wrong with me? And the sad part is they probably just, well, it would have just ended up being thrown away or put away in a box, where mice or moths are going to eat at it, once they close, because they closed down the Playboy Club after I left. And so, yeah, I wish I had it.
See, that kind of stuff would have been cool. Just a cool prop just to have.
Right. Absolutely.
I'm sure you're gonna keep something from the Fanboy movie once that's all said and done. You got to keep one of the cool props. I know there's gonna be amazing props.
Oh, I'm sure I'll have plenty of stuff from that. I've got my permission.
There you go. That's good. So did you get to work with anybody from the Fanboy movie yet?
And Vincent and Andrew, and then we're also introducing a young, beautiful, just badass woman. Her name is Haley Greenbauer, and she's very talented, really knows what she's doing, and she's very athletic. And the character she's playing is Kelsey. She's one of our leads, and Kelsey is a badass martial arts
Okay.
gal. So yeah.
Oh, this sounds like it's gonna be a really really fun movie. I can't wait. I'm always excited when I get to.
Absolutely. I'm excited with it, and she can do gymnastics too. So we're definitely going to figure out how to add those elements into the fight scenes.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always excited when I'm talking to people that are involved in doing movies, and I get to they're just telling me, bits and pieces. They don't want to give away too much, but I'm just like, I cannot wait to see the finished product.
Right, right.
And this
Yeah,
this is
well,
definitely
we have lots and twists and turns. You don't know who the killer is until the very end.
one of them. Ooh, so it's gonna be a guessing game, even better.
Yep, yep. We've got thriller, we've got mystery, we've got action, adventure, we got sex, rock and roll. We got it all.
That's a horror movie to me.
Yep. Mm.
Now, do you guys have like a date that you want it to be out, or not yet?
Our goal, we would like to have it out late next year. Um, so we'll just, we're still, we still have to shoot it and everything. So, and we've got to work around everybody's schedules. So we definitely have a lot of juggling and things to do. So there's a lot to do before we can specifically say, but that's our goal.
Oh, that's awesome! I cannot wait.
Mhm.
I'm really excited for you guys for this movie.
Thank you. Thank you.
How long were you How long did you have your group going? That thing is growing fast.
Well, yeah, I mean, I had somebody a long time ago start it for me, but, I probably posted once in it. I wasn't really a part of it, and nobody was doing anything with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but really, it's been about a year, I think, that I decided to do the group. What was happening is that there was no more room on my personal page to let horror fans in. And so I decided I was going to switch them over. And I thought, well, I've got this group. Why don't I start switching people over?
Okay.
And we're just shy of 7,000 now.
Well,
So
congratulations
that's a
on that.
very short period of time.
That's awesome. Congratulations. And I did see that. I was like, wow, this group is really growing.
Yep.
And
It sure has.
everybody's so involved. And again, kudos to you. I love how involved you are with that group. And just, I feel like
Thank
anytime
you.
somebody posts something, maybe not right away, but you're definitely, you respond to people fast and all that. And just, again, like I said, as a fan, that means the world to us, because it's not just you going in there, say, once a month, making a post, and then that's it. You're real interactive with everybody, like every day in the thing.
Right, right. I try very hard to make sure that I spend some time in there. And there's certain periods of time, and I'll let everybody know I'm swamped doing this and that. And but for the most part, I try very hard to be in there. And we have an extremely active group. When I look at the stats on the activity, how Facebook and groups, they'll show you what your activity and stuff is.
Yeah.
And the number of active members compared to inactive is huge. I mean, we have an amazing turnout of people. So
That's great right there.
yeah.
You have to be a big reason for that, though, because everybody's like, oh, this is Deborah. She was in part 5. That's awesome. We get to talk to her.
Mm-hmm. It's been really nice visiting with everybody.
And then I didn't get a chance to watch every single one of them, but here and there I'll tune in when you guys do the live videos of someone else who's going to be in the movie. I don't know whose idea it was, but that was an excellent idea.
What was it?
When you do the Facebook live videos, like when you have the cast in those, I think that was an excellent idea.
Thank you. Thank you. We're doing a drawing tonight because I told everybody we'd have another drawing Friday the 13th memorabilia after we passed 35,000 in the Indiegogo campaign. So awesome. We're at 71%. Our next drawing will be when we pass 50,000.
That's great. That's great right there. Now, when you get to your goal of 50,000, are you going to stop the Indiegogo, or are you going to let it keep going for a little bit?
No, we're going to keep going, because the more that we raise, the more that we're able to put into the film. And so, yeah, every bit that we can raise, that just it'll add to making better special effects. Getting other people on board. So yeah, definitely going to keep going.
That's great. Oh man, that's so great. I'm just trying to think of what else to ask or say now, because all your answers are like perfect. You'll answer like 6 questions in one answer before I can before I can ask them, which is I love it.
Oh, sorry.
No need to be sorry. It's good. It's good.
Well, you've done a terrific job. You've asked some really good questions and everything, so I really appreciate you and appreciate your time.
Thank you. And I definitely appreciate you accepting to come on this podcast again. Like
Sure. Make sure to send me, share the link and everything with me, and share the link to your groups and stuff that you're going to be sharing in, and I'll make sure that we share too.
Oh, I appreciate that. I definitely will. As soon as it gets mixed down and all that other fun stuff, I'll let you know the day of.
Perfect. Perfect. Do you know when it's going to be released?
When we're done recording, I'm gonna send it to my brother because he's like the guy he's the one that does all that other stuff for me, mixes it down, and does all that great stuff.
Okay.
And I'll send it to him today, and I'm gonna tell him I need it ASAP. So.
Okay.
Hopefully within the next week.
Perfect.
But I'll definitely keep you posted on that. But I will tell him that this is one that needs to get out ASAP.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Aaron. I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. Do you have any questions for me, or?
I don't. I think you pretty much covered everything. You've done a terrific job.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, I mean, we can wrap it up then if you want. And I would love to have you on again anytime you want to come on to promote your movie or anything horror related.
Fantastic. I would love that.
And yeah, so if you want to plug it, if there's anything you want to plug, you can say that, or plug it, and then message me links that you would want posted, because I have a thing on my on my main page, my podcast page. You go to my podcast page, and then it's called Cool Links to Follow or Cool Pages to Follow, and then I have like a lot of people who are involved with horror stuff.
Okay. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind putting one up for the Indiegogo and for Deborah Voorhees Sheer Horror, and then we've got 13 Fanboy, whatever, is appropriate for that spot. That would be great.
All that is. Okay.
That's terrific. Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anything you want to plug before we end the episode?
Yeah, just guys, come to like our 13 Fanboy page. Come hang out with me at Deborah Voorhees Sheer Horror Group, and don't forget to get your name in the credits. My God, it's only $13. Just about anybody can reach for that. So yeah, go over to the Indiegogo, just put in 13 Fanboy, and we'll pop right up.
You heard her, guys, and thank you so much again. So much for being on this podcast. I greatly appreciate it. I'm humbled by it. I think it's amazing. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Aaron. It was really kind of you. I appreciate it.
And to everybody else out there, definitely go and check out her groups. I'm going to post the links. And come to my group, Horror with Sir Sturdy. Keep supporting and listening to the podcast. I love that. And as always, I'll see you in your nightmares. We are back real quick, ladies and gentlemen. Deborah has an awesome announcement, so listen up.
Hey, and yes, I wanted to let you know that we also have Jennifer Benko from Part 7. Fabulous young actress, kind-hearted, and beautiful. So we're super excited about having her on board as well.
I think this movie's going to be great, people. You guys definitely need to check this out. Go ahead to the Indiegogo and back this, because your name can be in the credits for $13. That alone should get you in there. If you're a Friday the 13th fan or not, just do it. And yes, Jennifer Benko, she said, is going to be in there from Friday the 13th Part 7. She played Tina as a child. So come check this out. And hey, who knows? Maybe I'll get some more people on the podcast from the 13 Fanboy movie. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I'll still see you in your nightmares. And thank you for listening.